Okay, guys, you ready? Let's wait for Gabby. She'll give us the sign. Boy, everybody got quiet. You just see Gabby grab the live sign. Mic's on. Okay, here we go, guys. We'll call the May 6th, 2025 Williams County Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. Beth, please call the roll.
Barry,
Here.
Steve,
Here.
Bo,
Here.
Chris.
Here.
We have a quorum. We'll proceed. If everybody please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item C, the consent agenda. What are the wishes?
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion. Hearing none. Roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item D, public comment. This is the spot on the agenda. If you are not in another spot on the agenda, is the time to come up and speak. If you do come up, please state your name. I don't see people racing, so we should be good. We'll move on. Planning and zoning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Haugen with County Planning. So the first item we have today is LU-0006-25, which is Ed Rintamaki on behalf of Roger and Marilyn Baker. They're requesting a variance for two newly created lots to remain in the agricultural zoning district that do not meet the minimum required acreage. This is located in the south half of the southeast of Section 10, Township 154 North, Range 96 West, which is Hoffland Township. Hoffland Township is governed by Williams County, so no township comment was solicited on this project. The applicant is requesting a minor subdivision, which will create 3 lots. The parent property is approximately 78.95 acres and is within the agricultural zoning district. The newly created lots will be approximately 74.93 acres and then 2.07 acres for the other 2 lots. The larger 74.93 acre lot will remain within that agricultural zoning district, while the applicant is requesting the variance for the 2 smaller 2.07 acre lots to also remain in that agricultural zoning district. Purpose of the minor subdivision is to create lots for Roger and Marilyn's children to build homes on in the future. Access to the newly created lots will be taken off of 52nd Street Northwest. The minor subdivision is currently going through the review process with the necessary county departments, and the lots will be known as MS 25-0008, 0009, and 0010, Recordation of the plat will be contingent on the approval of the variance. When Planning and Zoning heard this item on Tuesday, April 15th, they did recommend approval with a vote of 8-0.
Is the applicant present? Do you have anything you want to add? Nothing. I like to ask if there's anything you have to add, you're more than welcome to come up and. If you're you got to come up here though. Sorry, I got to make it hard.
No, we applied for the zoning and went through the proper channels, and some of the conditions are met already. The property title with the attorney is cleared. We started the surveying in December, and we got a building permit, went through all the hoops, and now we have a house on a pad on that property already. So,
All right, thank you. Please introduce yourself when you get up here.
Zach Baker, professional engineer, son of Roger and Marilyn Baker. This is to be my primary residence.
Thank you. Is there any other comments on this one? Please introduce yourself.
All right. Good morning. My name is Kevin Reichling. I'm with ExxonMobil. I coordinate our new developments here in the Bakken. I'm joined here by Andrew Carter, our attorney. Also with ExxonMobil, and just for clarity, XTO Energy is a affiliate of ExxonMobil. The land in question for this proposed variance is within our currently permitted Sophia well pad, which supports our Grinnell Bakken unit development, or GBU as I'll call it a little bit later. Given that special conditions and circumstances would result if this variance is approved, the variance does not meet the evaluation criteria in section 342 of the Williams County Zoning Ordinance and Subdivision Regulations. And given the negative impacts that this would have on the mineral owners of this unit, we respectfully request that the commissioners deny approval of this variance. We've been planning for this development as far back as 2019, when we surveyed the property with the landowner's knowledge, coordinated alignment for the roads and infrastructure that needed to be built to support the pad, to accommodate some of the agricultural operations that were in the area. The last 3 years, we've invested about $1 billion completing wells and installing infrastructure to get ready for our GBU, this particular unit where the well pad sits, plus the immediately adjacent Hoffland Bakken unit, or the HBU. We brought a drilling rig into the HBU in January, and the intent is once we finish the HBU, we would then move over to the GBU where this particular well pad is located. Intent would be to start building this well pad as soon as this month in support of drilling next year. Unfortunately, there's not a suitable alternative location for this well pad without resulting in pretty significant drilling challenges or actual loss of resource that could be recovered with the associated wells. We expressed similar concerns back when this was a subject for a sand mine in the area. In addition, in the planning and zoning meeting a couple weeks ago on April 15th. I will emphasize we continue to be willing to work together to co-develop both our well pad and the frac sand mine in this area. However, given the impacts that this would have on the 98 interest owners in the GBU and the impact that it would have on the state of North Dakota, we're respectfully requesting that this variance be rejected. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle, the ordinance that they said it is against, do you have any comments on that?
I believe what they're talking about is the first item of that portion says a literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in unnecessary and undue hardship, great practical difficulty, or injustice. With not knowing that there's well pads planned on our end, we're never notified of those. So at the point when we accepted the application and started the process, we were unaware that there was anything going on right there.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, I guess, Bakers, were you aware of this GBU Sophia pad? Is it staked out already?
Supposedly, they, well, he said 2019, they got a permission from the state in 2023. And if you look on the website, the NDIC, you can see that. So that was their former drilling plan. Then they changed it in 24 to their current drilling plan. And the section 2, 10, and 15 or on the west edge of that, bordering 108 Avenue. And so you can see by the map that in 2010, they interrupted my irrigation in section 15. The statutes say that they can come in and do whatever, and then you have to sue them for damages. It took them 10 years, 14 years before I ever got any compensation for the loss of that. It was not my land in section, it was 60 acres in section 15. The road between 9 and 15, 9 and 16, they built that road up to get to that section 15. They maintained the road all the way to 108 or 109th Avenue, poorly, but supposedly. Once you get over into section 3 and 11, then that unit is 8 miles from north to south. Originally, they had planned the former to drill in section 3 going south. Then they decided in December of 24 that they would put these pads in section 10 and go some of them north again, or rather go north. And some go out and south. I mean, they can cover 2 and 10 and 15, 3 miles from the north, and then they can cover everything from the south, 3 miles from the south. When I went to the NDIC, to the Ag Commissioner, and showed him the original map of 2020, he said, yes, they just put one well in every 1,200 acre unit to tie up all the leases. So they started this thing, tying up the leases in 2010. Their latest well that they drilled was in 2015 or 16. Hunt drilled a well, and they're a partner in this as well. XTO only has 65% of holdings in that GBU. There's many other people that have it. But Hunt is drilling over 3 miles from the south. So if they went back to their former drilling to come from section 3, they can cover this. If they come from the south, on the other side of the river, they can cover everything. Their former plan was to have 78 new wells. Some are 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 2.5, 3 miles. Their current plan to only have 65 new wells, some of them longer, but with the savings of $100 million, they're leaving $240 million untouched in the ground. So I think this is some of the same engineers that decided they would start fracking 4 years ago, the day it was 47 degrees below in Williston. So they can come from the north 4 miles, they can come from the south 4 miles, they can cover whatever they have without, as soon as the county approved our sand permit, they showed up with a 20-day notice. And they knew we were doing sand last year in the summer. But they waited till after the county, their first offer was, we'll do the sand over there first. The whole thing is that they're sitting less than 100 yards from the lake, the high water mark. And in their plan, it says that they and their agencies would like to stay at least a half a mile from the river. None of that property that I have is more than a half a mile from the river. And this is the closest. So, like I said, we had planned this 10 years ago. I told them it was going to be lake property there. They haven't done anything for 8, 9 years, so.
Were you settled on that other well site where they plopped it right
That
smack on
wasn't
the
my
edge
land.
of your,
I
oh, it
had
wasn't
no
your land.
say
On the pivot?
on the pivot. I had no say on it.
Okay.
And since then, in section 16, I tried to get them to move that pad south 500-600 feet so I could keep irrigating. They wouldn't do that. By the time they got into section 16 and the newest wells that just got completed, they asked if they could come back diagonal north 500 feet. And so they level out flat on section 16. And then when they get up in section 2, they decided they're going on the south side of the highway instead of an abandoned scoria pit on the north side, which would be ideal. But instead they're going,
The problem we run into with that though is we have no say on where they put.
Right,
That's
right.
it's not us. I mean.
but now they're going on the south side and they claiming they're going to go back 1,100 feet to the north.
Well, I guess my question, and it might not be to you, it might be to the gentleman that talked from ExxonMobil. So that's the only spot that you can put an oil well to solve this entire problem? I mean, it doesn't look like a very big piece of property. How many acres is it?
Total 4.14 for
acres
the two
Out of
smaller
that
lots.
whole section, and that's the only spot that it makes sense? I'm not an engineer. Yeah, please do.
And Mr. Chairman, this all seems like a moot point since this land belongs to Mr. Baker, so.
So I would say in general, the well pad would need to be roughly in this area. We're, moving a few hundred feet in certain directions would be, something that we could work with. It's more of if we have to kind of push it well to the northeast or down on the south side where you run into the pretty significant challenges with drilling and resource recovery. So changes within that general area, that is certainly something that we can work with.
So when you talk about significant challenges, exactly what does that mean? Because
So
I
it's-
mean, when things are a little bit vague, that tends to.
Sure, yeah. So I mean, in essence, the problem areas, or the most difficult areas, it's section 14, 23, and 36, they're 3-mile laterals that we're intending to drill from this pad. The current location allows you to be close to those laterals so that you can, feel confident from a drilling operation standpoint, but then also being able to recover the resource at the end of the wells with your completion. If you move further away with the well pad, you essentially have such a long reach to get over to the lateral that you could potentially run into challenges while you're actually drilling the well, or even being able to, get the resource back from the far end, from the toes of the wells themselves.
Well, I believe there's other companies in that end of the county. I mean, they're doing 4 miles. But would it not be, I mean, if rather than having to have a lease road and haul, with any luck, you get a lot of oil out of it and production water and all that, then you got to haul it back to the highway. Wouldn't you be better off staying up by the highway?
We feel like the magnitude of the resource that we would lose would be well above the impacts of what you're suggesting there.
So what's the legal setback? Well, from a habited home, I guess, for a well? Is that 600 feet?
I believe it's 500 feet, and there's some stipulations around time of residency and being a permanent resident and those kind of things.
Right. So, I mean, if they put this 2 acres, they put a house on it and they're living there, then you come in to stake a well, it's got to be a minimum of 500 feet from their property line or from their home. A
Yes,
maximum.
I think we'd have to figure out what, we'll assess what the right path forward is at that point, but yes.
So 500 feet in one direction, which I wouldn't want to have a well 500 feet from my house. But even if you move 500 feet, it's gonna mess up your drilling plan on a 3-mile lateral.
If we can move 500, like 500 feet would not cause the drilling challenges. If we had to move it a lot more than that, yes. So if you're having to move kind of, say a section to the north or something, just to throw that out there, that would when you'd start to run into some of the challenges that I'm referring to. But moving 500 feet, we would not see some of the challenges that I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, I agree with Mr. Wallstead. I mean, this is Mr. Baker's land. You referenced 2019, it's 2025. It's been 6 years. So if you were gonna poke a hole, should have done it 6 years ago. But, I mean, that's just my opinion.
Mr. Chairman, should we consult our legal? Does Ms. Prout have any input on this, or?
Not at this point. Do we have any other, no, we don't, no. I mean,
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the variance LU 0006-25.
with, including the recommendations? Well, there are 5 recommendations from planning and zoning.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is there a second for discussion?
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Thank you, guys, because now it's turned over to the board. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Well, just for one, I mean, it's getting back to personal property rights. There's inside Williams County, I mean, we have just this very short stretch of available lakefront property. And I cannot believe that 2-acre lots could possibly mess up $100 million drilling program. Because if it can, sounds kind of shaky, but.
Okay, any others? No other comments? Okay, we have a motion, and it has been seconded. Let's have a roll call.
Steve,
Yes.
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 Motion carried.
Okay, so the next item we have today is LU-0008-25, which is Jaden Ewing with Magnus Services on behalf of Kevin Mischke. They're requesting a conditional use permit to construct a freshwater holding pond. This is located in the south half of the northwest of Section 9, Township 156 North, Range 102 West, which is Cow Creek Township. Like the previous one, Cow Creek Township is governed by Williams County, so no township comment was solicited on this project. The applicant is requesting the conditional use permit, which will construct a freshwater holding pond on the subject property. The parcel is a total of approximately 80 acres. However, the site itself will consist of approximately 20 acres. According to the applicant, the pond will be 387,666 BBLS, which is 49.97 acre feet. It will be approximately 500 feet by 419 by 15 feet deep, with a maximum slope of 3-to-1. The pond will be lined with a 30 mil polypropylene. Purpose of this pond is for storage of fresh water to be utilized in oil well production in the area. The water will be pumped out of the holding pond by diesel trailer mounted pumps. Site will have fencing around it. The applicant has an industrial groundwater permit for the area, which will supply the water for the holding pond. Access to the freshwater holding pond is off of 145th Avenue Northwest, utilizing a 2-track access road south of the farmyard. On April 15th, when this was heard by Planning and Zoning, they did recommend approval 8-0.
Okay, applicant have anything to add? No? Okay, anyone else? Any questions from the board? What are the wishes?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve following staff's recommendations.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, so the next one we have is LU-0009-25, which is Greg Nelson with Select Water on behalf of Eugene and Penny Moe. They're also requesting the conditional use permit to construct a freshwater pump station. This is located in the northeast of Section 24, Township 156 North, Range 95 West, which is Pleasant Valley Township, and they did recommend approval on this project. The applicant is requesting the conditional use permit, which will construct a freshwater pump station. Project site will consist of an approximately 45 by 35-foot building to house the freshwater pumps and will contain an approximately 6.9 acre freshwater pond. Subject property is within the agricultural zoning district. The building will be unmanned except for the occasional people there for routine maintenance. This pond location will be the end point for the freshwater pipeline. As per the detailed plans, the site will be fenced. The freshwater will be utilized for oil well production within the area. Access to the subject property is taken off of 99th Avenue Northwest. Planning and zoning on April 15th heard this item and also recommended approval 8-0.
Okay, is the applicant present? Okay, do you have anything to add? Okay. All right. Any questions, or if not, what are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to follow planning and zoning, or approve and follow planning and zoning recommendations.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Okay, so the final item I have today is LU-0012-25. Mike Chena with Ramsey Hill Exploration is requesting an amendment to their approved conditional use permit to construct and operate their frac sand facility. The location of this addition and amendment is the north half of the northeast of Section 18, the southeast, southwest, Government Lot 4, which is the southwest, and northeast of Section 7, all within Township 154 North, Range 96 West, which is Hoffland Township. No comment was solicited on this as Hoffland Township is governed by the county. The applicant is requesting an amendment to their approved conditional use permit that was approved by the Board of County Commissioners on March 4th of 2025. This amendment is adding additional lands to the north of 52nd Street Northwest. The applicant has been working to secure these lands in hopes to prolong the need for mining south of 52nd Street Northwest. Like the previous CUP, the applicant anticipates the mining area to be excavated to depths between 20 and 50 feet. It is their intention to utilize unused clay to refill the mining pits and will be continuously reclaiming the areas as they go. The applicant states that the elevation post-mining should be approximately 1,865 feet, with the starting elevation prior to mining approximately 1,900 feet. Access to the added subject properties will be off of 110th Avenue Northwest. Planning and Zoning Commission did hear this item on April 15th and did recommend approval 7-1.
Okay, is the applicant present? All right, any questions from the board?
What was the company names of this will be the third one in this area?
Well, so Ramsey Hill Exploration was the second one, so it's going just to be an addition to their one. They're starting on like the west side, or the east side, excuse me, of 110th, and this will be on the west side, just so they don't go down south by those lakefront properties as quickly, and to kind of help prolong that process a bit. I believe the reason it wasn't included with the first one was they were still working on land leases with the landowners prior to the other one coming in front of the board.
Okay, what are the wishes?
I would make make a motion to approve following staff comments.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call.
Chris,
No.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, that brings us to the end of planning and zoning. F, number 1 on the list, assessor.
Good morning, Commissioners. Leah with the Assessor's Office. So today I bring to you a list of the 2024 primary residence credits. The law has recently changed and it initiated an abatement process for the parcels listed in front of you. This list just needs to be approved by you guys. Questions?
So that blanket abatement letter, you also want approval for the chairman to sign?
Correct.
Are these all, can these all be done in one, or do we have to do separate? Or just the letter we approve?
Just the letter you approve and it'll all be done as one big group.
Okay, apparently I was thinking because I wasn't obviously listening, so sorry about that.
It's fine.
Okay, what are the wishes, gentlemen?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the blanket abatement and authorize the chairman to sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Motion
Thank you,
carried.
gentlemen.
Thank you, Leah, for updating me on the update. Next one is facilities. Keith.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning got two things for you. First one is 2 new fleet vehicles, which are budgeted for in the last year's budget process. You can see the bids in front of you. Just looking for authorization for the chairman to sign and approval. Any questions on those? And for 2013 pickups, those are pretty good trade-in prices.
Okay, what are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Second item I've got is carpet replacement for the LEC. 4 different areas, corrections, the control room, new carpet, second and third floor lobbies, and then the atrium entryway and the back entrance by the generator all need new carpet. They just get wore out. So trying to keep up with keeping stuff looking good. So those are the 4, everything is budgeted in last year's budget process for this too. So just looking for the approval and chairman to sign.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move to approve that purchase with authorization to sign.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Keith. Dennis, you're up.
Okay, the first one we have from Magnus, parallel to put a above-ground water line paralleling County 19, south of 12, in and out, all the way up to Highway 50. And Jaden's here if you have questions, but the parallels come to you guys to authorize. It's above ground.
This lay flat,
flat.
is that, I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. So temporary, lay flat.
Correct.
Gotcha.
And just goes through culverts.
Culverts, and then it parallels the road, and then it goes out private, and he has all landowner permission. Everything's in order. If you have questions?
Just out of curiosity, I mean, if I've seen these guys, not these guys, but other companies do this. I mean, they unload pipe, this hose on the road with the track skid steer, and every time they turn, it pushes up a berm. It makes the road rougher than hell, and then they tear up the road ditch. I mean, all that's going to be fixed and taken care of. Okay. I will get a phone call from landowners and that because it's happened multiple times, and it's usually a chunk out of my hide. So
We actually are gonna put signs up with your number by it, Bo. Not that it's needed where this is going, but we'll make sure they know who to call.
It's a chunk out of ours.
Dennis usually gets the first call. Okay, what are the wishes, gentlemen?
make a motion to approve those.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes, motion carried.
The other one is a parallel at Caraville, going north on County 9 for just a short distance for NCC out of Ray for fiber optic cable.
And that part of that, if future road work were to happen,
Correct.
it's up to them to move it in a timely fashion. The timely fashion is what I wanted to get.
Well, that's what it says. It's in black and white.
Okay, any other questions? Can we get a motion?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, moving on with our great prices we got this year with our budgeted road work, road upgrades, paving projects, all our road projects. We have change order to continue on with some still within our budget on all of these that we're going to discuss. County Road 11A and 42, doing County Road 11. Change order number 1 is $2,231,000.
And that's to add how many miles?
3.
Any questions?
Seems pretty reasonable.
Everything we have got today is still within our budgeted numbers for the season.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I would make a motion to approve and authorize chairman to sign if that's required.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
motion carried.
17A down at the Red Mike Golf Course area, 17A. Again, great numbers. Change order number 1 to add 3 miles. $1,786,500.
Any questions?
Make a motion to approve that and authorize chairman to sign if necessary.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? I can't wait to hear the next one because we're just going down. I like it. Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes,
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next one is our County 11 project up north. Paving 2 miles going west on 12 or adding to the loop. $1,445,000. That's 2 miles.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call?
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Our countywide chip seal project, adding 9 miles, County 1 and 6. Change order number 1, $336,000.
I'd move to approve that project.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call?
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes. Motion carried.
That's it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dennis. Good numbers.
Yeah, when I get.
Is there any other highways we can pave with your leftover cash, Dennis?
Oh, we're full.
Probably running out of people to do the work, I'd say at
Correct.
this point. Well,
We're to November.
well then you better not stand here too long. Go get them going.
I know. I've been there.
Did I miss any department heads? Got everybody? Helen?
Good morning. All right, you see on the position report in front of you, we don't have any regular positions to fill, but I do have a couple of notes related to NDSU extension. And actually, Commissioner Anderson does have some ongoing dialogue as well with the folks from NDSU extension, so I think he'll have some things to add. The first thing is that we have just a little background in case Commissioner Wellstead doesn't know, we have an agreement statewide between NDSU Extension, the Ag Education and Community Branch, and counties, and we fund Ag agents 50%. Counties provide 50% of the funding. NDSU Extension provides the other 50% of funding. They have positions across the state that they allocate for different specialties. It has been identified that we would benefit from having a horticulture agent here. And so that's the kind of position that I, as a homeowner, think of. I have a tree that has some kind of a sickness. I can chop a bit of it off, take it in. This agent specializes in being able to do that. I think egg producers also benefit from having this kind of a agent in the area. What has been indicated to us is if this board showed interest and support for funding our half of a horticulture agent salary, that as positions shuffle across the state, we would be moved up on the list to have a horticulture agent stationed here. Right? This is what we've heard from them.
Yeah, and this would be the 4th port position in the state of North Dakota, I believe, maybe 5th. But the closest one to here would be basically Minot, Bismarck. And like Helen said, that this position is not open currently or available yet, but if it works out statewide, that position could be made open. But this motion basically tells NDSU, hey, we're committed to, if it comes open, we would like to have it. So that NDSU can take it to their higher ups and get it approved.
So what I did, just in case it all happened quickly, is I verified that we had money available in the budget to cover our half of the salary in 2025 if something were to happen. And then, of course, we would include funding for this position in 2026 and forward, just to make sure that we're covered whenever it is that it becomes available to us.
And the answer is yes, you can cover it in 25, right?
Correct.
Okay. Any questions or anybody want to make a motion? Because this sounds like a real good deal for us.
Move to approve.
Is there a
Chairman.
second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, the other item also relates to NDSU extension. And I would just tell you that we've been working, sort of refining how we staff that department. And so recently we eliminated a full-time administrative assistant clerical position, but we added an NDSU extension agent. So we're splitting that cost. And now as we see, it was a year ago or a little less. And now as we see how the workload is going for folks, we need to add back that full-time administrative assistant position. And actually we have it's been a part-time position. And so we're just looking to reclassify it back to a full-time position. I verified in the budget, we have the funds to cover this expense in 2025. I think it will take a little while it's not going to start tomorrow. And then of course I would include funding for this position in the budget for 26. So that would be approving a reclassification from part-time to full-time.
I would move to approve that reclassification.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now, related to the boards on the backside of the list, I would remind you, we have a couple of Vector board members who indicated they would stay on until we found their replacements, but we do have 2 seats open on the Vector board. And so if you know of anybody interested to serve, or I say to the people who might be watching, there's an opportunity there. But we do have a request from the Weed Board. As you know, the Board of County Commissioners is the appointing authority to many boards. You have appointed someone to the Weed Board who has not been able to be a regular attendee to Weed Board meetings. And so by motion at a Weed Board meeting recently, those members asked to have this person removed, have it reopened so that someone who could attend more regularly could be appointed. So out of the last 11 months, the Weed Board had 7 meetings. It means in the winter they have a little bit of time there where they don't typically have a lot going on, so they may cancel meetings. So out of 7 meetings, this individual is only available to attend 3 of them. I did reach out to him shortly after I got this notice from the Weed Board, and then yesterday, and say, gosh, there seems to be some inconsistency. I think he hasn't been to a meeting since October of 24. And he said that work has been busy and he thinks that maybe it's getting better and he would plan to attend and would like the opportunity to continue to serve. I also then talked to the chair of the Weed Board, who indicated that they were ready to have somebody else fill the seat. I guess one more note, the Century Code does allow for the county commission to make this sort of decision. And it cites removal, the commissioners shall remove for repeated unexcused failures to attend meetings, for refusal to act as board member, or for incapacity.
I guess I have, I mean, you're on this one, aren't you, Bo? So is it common? I mean, do you guys always get a full boat?
It's not every time, but I would say, I mean, more often than not, they're all there, but if they're not there, they call in. I mean, that's kind of like our board meetings.
I guess my only hesitation and not knowing any background, I mean, just what Helen's given is as the background is, it's not like we've got people lining up to help out with these positions. I know that's been a problem, but I get it. You got to be there if you're volunteered to be on one of these boards. So
That's my question is, do they have somebody else in mind?
No, when I talked to the chairman of the board yesterday, he said, he was trying to think of folks, but no, they don't have someone ready and waiting. But they're frustrated though.
Understandable. It's frustrating. I mean, you've got to be there.
Yeah, I think certainly in this board in particular, the trouble is having missed the last 4 meetings, they are the meetings where the heavy lifting, the work of weed control and vector and parks, quite honestly, happens in the spring through the summer.
I know the young man in question, he's same age as my kids. He's a good kid, busy. And if you don't show up, I would make a motion to remove him at the request of the weed board.
Yeah, and I'll second that.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I guess you should maybe put in the motion Chase O'Neill.
Oh, yep, Chase O'Neill is his name.
You good with that? Okay. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, on to another item. It's a little bit of a house cleaning item. So in 2019, well, yes, in 2019, the NDSU Extension Research Station was in the process of constructing a seed cleaning plant. And then their next project was going to be a greenhouse. And Williams County was a funding partner for the seed cleaning plant, and then along the way also contributed funds toward the greenhouse. And as I understand it, there was some move the legislature might allocate some money, and there were a lot of things going on. And of course, there was a different director out there at the time who has since retired. Well, fast forward now 6 years, the greenhouse has not been constructed. And based on our practices at the time, and especially with other political subdivisions, we issued them the $400,000 check for the greenhouse, which has now not been built. And just in an audit and reviewing the grants that we've given out and what we have going on, it is our thought that we should ask for those funds to be returned to us. But we really needed this board's authority to take that action. And so staff will take care of that if you all agree, and I'd like a motion, of course, that we should request return of those funds. I would suggest if they ever had an opportunity to move forward in a greenhouse project, they could come back and we could see where we sit then. But I don't know that we intended for them to hold these funds long-term for a project that just hasn't been able to happen.
I would
What-
move.
Just one thing quick. I guess we have changed the way we do it, and which is a good thing. You know, we don't just hand people checks, and it was a learning process. I mean, they came in, sounded like a great idea. We said, yeah, let's do it. Let's write a check. But we have since changed that, so this should not happen again. So,
Yeah, I would say this is the end of that era. Yep.
Yeah, I'd move to approve move to approve the request for the return of those funds to the Williams County.
is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Do you know, because a couple months ago, what they had sent us correspondence saying what, basically, please allow us to keep this funding for.
I don't know that we have anything firm from them. I think they have other projects in the works, and I think it was more in discussion than it was an email. Well, maybe we could just repurpose it for something else as we started to say, boy, what's going on with that? Can you give us an update? And so, I mean, again, I think our practice today would be if you have a thing and you want to talk to us about getting help, then that would be a separate request.
Yeah,
not
and
just line
I
work.
sit on that advisory board,
Oh.
so there's been discussion about, they would come back and ask us for permission to roll that funding into another project, but
Oh.
with the absence of the director now again. Of course, I don't know what legislature did on that. It was the irrigation project building down there at Nesson Valley, but I'm just asking if they've had any other correspondence, but I think it's fair for us.
I think this is just good fiduciary responsibility on behalf of our constituents.
Okay, any other comments? Roll call, Beth.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Great, that's all I have. Anything for me?
Says contracts.
Oh, I think that's just the standing item. There.
Okay, there's none. Okay, just checking. Oh, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure we didn't forget something.
I mean, I could bring one as a surprise each time.
You
Just kidding.
you sure can. You feel free to do that. And we'll just say, has Karen reviewed it? Right.
Thank you.
All right. Seeing no other things on the agenda, we are adjourned. 8:55.